In this video, if you're trying to make money online, I'm going to tell you why high ticket sales is the easiest way for you to do that. And it's also the most efficient way for you to get to that 10K a month. And I've been in high ticket sales for years, almost 5 years at this point. And I've seen a lot of people who come in and try these different online business models who fail at them and then they just give up. Whereas if they had started with this instead, they probably would have succeeded and their life would have looked a lot different. So this stuff is pretty easy. Once you get on with a good business, you get a good job, you are literally never going to find an easier way to make that 10K a month. If you can't do this, I'm not sure you are going to succeed at anything anyway. So let's get into it. So I'm going to talk about what makes high ticket sales so easy and what makes this such a great opportunity. First of all, something that gets lost in the sauce in all this make money online stuff is the fact that your goal should be to make the most money that you can in the most efficient way possible. All right. Now at higher levels, that's going to be online businesses or passive investments, but most people are not there yet. And starting any business at the beginning, that's going to be a ton of fucking work, like 10 times more work than you think it is. And most people, they just want to make a lot of money in the least amount of time in the easiest way possible. And that way, the best way I have found is remote high ticket sales. There's nothing easier to do. You can fight me on this. There's no argument. In high ticket sales, your job is to just sit on a computer at home for a few hours a day and talk to people on Zoom who already want to buy what you're selling. So you basically just answer a few questions for people who are already highly interested in buying the products or services that you're selling. So there's not really a whole lot of difficult work on your part. You're not trying to convince anyone of anything or persuade anyone or try to do things they don't want to do or buy things they don't want. You're going to run the same call every single time. You ask a few questions, you get to know the person, the prospect, and then if the product that you're selling is right for them, you close them. And if it's not right for them, you don't. You say, hey, this product's not right for you. You disqualify them and you end the call. That's it. That's all there is to it. There are no other responsibilities. And you get paid $10,000 a month or more to do this. Sometimes I feel like I'm in the twilight zone, that I have to explain to people how great of an opportunity this is and how easy this is to do. And the reason for that, I think, is the internet has ruined tons of things for people because they see over and over someone say something like, oh, the easy way to make lots of money. And that's just repeatedly been lies over and over. So when they see this, they're like, yep, same bullshit, probably not. I don't know. They're immediately skeptical. Now let's go into detail on what makes high ticket sales so great and why it's so easy. First of all, as the salesperson, you are only speaking with warm inbound leads. And most people that I have found that don't have a lot of work experience or sales experience, they don't understand the massive difference this makes. In most sales jobs, you have to do cold calling. You have these really long sales cycles where you're constantly having to repeatedly reach out to people over and over. You're having to convince these people to buy. You're just like, every time you reach out, you're just like, will you please fucking buy this time? Even if you're selling something that's expensive and that's legitimate, like a legit product, whether that's B2C or B2B, it doesn't matter. Most sales jobs, you're having to do follow-ups. You're having to outreach to people. You're having to chase people down. And in high ticket sales, the closers don't have to do any of that. I've never done anything like that. If you are on a good offer, all of your calls are scheduled for you. So you just show up each day. In the morning, this is how I would do it. And I would look at the calendar and then I would just take the calls. They're already scheduled for the day. And when I started doing this, I was like, this is fucking insane. Like, where has this been my whole life? And since you're speaking to warm inbound leads, they already want to buy what you're selling for the most part. So the calls are not difficult. They're not like sales calls that you normally imagine. You're talking to people who have predominantly made up their mind that they want to buy this to some degree. They have some level of interest in buying, and most of the time it's a lot. So that right there changes the whole dynamic of the call. And there's way less stress on you as the salesperson. That's how I would put it. Now, what's going to make all this possible? How is it possible that high ticket sales roles have all these easy, warm, inbound leads who are ready to buy, but no other sales industry has really figured this out, right? And the answer to that is going to be a couple of things. But the main thing is online businesses are using social media content and their social media platforms to warm up and nurture these leads. So they always have an influx of people who are ready to buy, who are going and scheduling calls. So social media content is like free advertising running all the time, 24/7. So think about like a television ad. They might get you, that company, who's ever running that TV ad, they might get you for 30 seconds, twice a week, 3 times a week, where they are putting their product in front of your face, right? But these days, people are addicted to their phones like a drug. And if a business or influencer is posting content every single day, talking about what they sell, people are seeing that every single day for weeks, for months, sometimes even longer. And sometimes after one day of seeing some content, people are like, okay, I'm ready to buy. And then you also have people who've been lurking for months and months just watching the same person or business's content every single day. And then one day they're like, all right, I'm ready to buy. Now's the time. So think about it more like this. With the TV advertisements, they have to compete with all these other people who are trying to get in front of your face in this limited time slot, right? Where most people are gonna check out anyway when the commercial break comes. But with social media content, you are basically running home to watch these people's advertisements. Because most people, what do? They're like, oh, I can't wait to go home and scroll on my phone for the next 6 fucking hours. You do that every night, so you're basically running straight home to watch a bunch of advertisements for a person or business's product that they are selling from their Instagram account. That is what hundreds of millions of people are doing every single day, all the time, and they cannot stop themselves from doing that. So imagine how much money, Coca-Cola, right? Trying to think of a brand everyone here would know. Imagine how much more money Coca-Cola would make if people were desperate to go home and watch like 20 Coca-Cola commercials every night. Like they couldn't stop thinking about doing that every night. But that's what you're doing. You're scrolling a business or influencer's page and watching 15, 30, 50 fucking pieces of their content. And that's like all free for the business. The punchline is you have thousands and thousands of people who are watching that content every day that are potential leads. And this keeps a consistent flow of people going and scheduling calls who are ready to buy all of the time. And the second part of this is also going to be running ads on social media. So if a business has a good offer and they're running great content and has these paid social media advertisements dialed in, you can make insane money as a salesperson. If you have a good product or a good offer, which most internet businesses do, and then you support that with the content, you will constantly have people coming in who want to buy what you're selling. And you're not gonna have to convince anybody of anything. They will never stop rolling in. This is an absolute game changer. And even though it seems like social media has been around for a while, most businesses don't even utilize it. And if they do, they're doing it horribly, terribly wrong. It's basically just free advertising all the time. I don't think you understand how crazy that is. You get to smack people in the face with your product or service every single day because they cannot pry their phones away from their faces. And the two things that you need to have if you want people to give you money are trust and familiarity. And you get both of those things automatically through people watching your content. Attention is the game. If you have attention, you can make a ton of money. And high ticket salespeople are in the best spot to capitalize on that. Now, another reason that this is such a mind-blowing opportunity is there's not really a lot of selling going on. So online businesses sell products and services that solve problems for people, generally. So they're easy to sell because people want to buy them. And if I'm a business owner, what's some examples? If I'm a business owner and I can't get any leads, I want to pay a marketing agency to bring me a ton of leads so that I can make more money. I want somebody to solve that issue for me. If I'm out of shape, I'm fat, I've tried everything, I want to buy a coaching program from someone I look up to, someone who's in shape and who knows what they're talking about, and get their help with my health because I'm tired of being fat, insecure, and unhealthy. So you see what I'm saying? Like, these are problems that keep people up at night. like making more money, getting in better shape. Like people think about this stuff all the time and they're like just desperate for a solution to these problems. So you're selling things that are actually helping people, and those are the easiest, best things that you want to sell if you are in sales. And on top of that, you're selling products that have a high profit margin, which means that your commission for every sale is going to be extremely high. Since these products and services are digital, they're on the internet, there's not a lot of overhead or costs that the business has to pay for. So more of the money from the sale can go to your commission as the salesperson. And since you're selling things that cost like $5,000 and up, you're making $500 sales all the time, every day, multiple ones. And that's how you can make so much money so easily. All of these different factors rolled into one. And lastly, there's so many less moving parts in these sales jobs than in corporate sales jobs or any other sales job you've ever had. I used to be in corporate tech sales. I worked for big tech companies, and I've done high ticket sales for extremely lean influencers on Instagram. And I can tell you that you make way more money over here because there's just so many less moving parts. Like in a giant corporation, there's so much overhead, there's so much cost. And over here, if you're just selling with an influencer, it's just you and him, you're just like watching money print. You're like, what the fuck? This is crazy. Like it's very hard to explain, but it'll be very surreal when it happens to you. I've had tons of sales jobs and they all had so much stupid bureaucracy, stupid like rules you had to follow for no fucking reason. All of this complete nonsense that had nothing to do with selling or making money. And they want you to do like, I'm about to go off on a tangent. They want you to do like social stuff outside of work with these people who you don't like anyway, and like spend the little bit of free time you do have with these people. It's crazy. In high ticket sales, all you have to do is close the sales and collect the payment. So that's, as opposed to all this nonsense, all you have to do over here is just close the sales and people will leave you alone. All right, you close somebody, on to the next one. If you're making sales, the business owner will leave you alone. It's literally heaven. And then you can go live your life however you want to with all this new money in your bank account and all this new freedom and flexibility. Now, most people have not ever run a business, right? Or done sales really, anything like that. So they don't really realize how great of an opportunity this is. And a question I hear a lot is, well, why isn't everyone doing it? The reason why everyone you know isn't doing it is the same reason why people don't do anything else, because they're lazy and they're looking for the easiest way to do everything that requires zero work. They want to do the bare minimum, and if they have to do anything hard, they just give up. You can make a ton of money doing high ticket sales. You just have to do some upfront work to find a good job. That's the end of the video. If you want my help getting a closer role or a center role, go to the links in the descriptions. Until next time.